Hi, I'm the idiot that screwed this all up. I'm really sorry. So this is probably going to be a trailer to a real discussion of Skyler White. Uh, Time to be announced later. Uh, Please, anybody, if you see this, just post what's a good day or time for you, and I'll try to work this out. I don't want to do this alone. So I'm just going to go through the bullet points. The thing here is Skyler White is probably the single most hated character on the show. I think people like Todd better than Skyler. And there's a few things that come into play here. One is where you're coming from personally. I I had an interesting discussion with somebody who said that they used to be kind of in that lifestyle, and that, for example, you don't snitch, you take care of it yourself. That really didn't have anything to do with Skyler, but a personal viewpoint. So if you're a mother, you've been married, the whole 9 yards, maybe you identify with her better. The other thing is she is the antagonist to Walt, the protagonist. We want her to just, well, not we. Most people want her just to do what she's told. Let Walt do his thing. He's providing for the family. That's sometimes it's definitely sexist, and other times it's, I think, the difference of how you take this. When it's fiction and you want it to be interesting because you're always aware that it's not real, then you want all kinds of horrible things to happen. You look at characters and give them latitude that you wouldn't give anybody in your real life. In other words, say you were married to a guy who started doing what Walt was doing, disappearing, lying, etc. You maybe you wouldn't like it so much. Maybe you wouldn't tolerate it as much as you would with Skyler, but because this is fiction and you've latched onto this character, Walter White, and you want him to be successful, anybody who gets in his way in the slightest is the enemy. And it was really, she was his biggest obstacle most of the time. And I would say rightfully so. Anyway, the mistakes that she made, I mean, we wouldn't have the show without it, which is not an argument. That's never an argument, because just as I was saying, that you take this as fiction, so anything goes. Some people watch with an eye for realism. In other words, what if I were them? I'm one of some people who do that. So I'm always looking at things from the point of view of a character as if they are real. My heart is into it. It is entertaining. That's why I watch it. But I'm concerned about the characters. It would really make me sad if ... Anyway, and that just died. Did it just die? Oh, it just, sorry. My window just went kapooey. Here we go. Um, the biggest, I think this is what goes on. People hate Skyler, and then they give reasons for it, and few give actual good reasons. They usually just say she's a bad word. Bitch being, you know, the least offensive of them. She then they don't have to justify why they hate her. She had a few cigarettes while she was pregnant. IFT. That's a big argument. And it's actually, by the way, amazing that it's January 2015 and we are still actively debating characters and talking about the show online. And it hasn't been on the air since September 2013. A lot of people are watching this they're binge watching. They didn't do what some of us did. Week to week, season to season, year to year, long waits. A lot of time to rewatch, a lot of time to read up. And I can say for myself, and I know this is true for others, sometimes the way we felt about an episode when we first saw it completely changed once we went back and fully understood it. It's kind of like a book. It's like you got to go back over that paragraph again. Wait a minute. There's something there that, wow, oh, shoot. You just don't notice the first time around. And I also think that binge watching makes it seem like the transformations of these characters are slower than they really are. If you binge watch, and I've done it after watching the Year to Year, I'm like, wow, that changed fast. When you didn't do it that way the first time, it went by slowly. So these changes are gradual. So they'll point to things like IFT, smoking, giving her lover her husband's money. And there's a lot of things going on here. One is she gave Ted money to keep Walt out of trouble. He built an empire that could bring them down legally in a big way. So she had to take control, and he knew it, and protect that. Don't red flag, do things right. She just didn't want her son to know. The smoking while pregnant, I think, what was the total? 2.5, 3.5 over the course of her pregnancy. There are women who eat so terribly that Skyler's still way ahead of them. So if she had smoked throughout her entire pregnancy, okay, fine. Still not as bad as outright murder. Always keep that in mind. This is where I'm coming from. If other people see differently, then please come and let's debate, because I think this is really interesting. They say that she liked the money. She didn't like the money. So please come on and show me an example of how she liked the money, because I don't see any. She told Walt she was waiting for the cancer to come back. That's an important scene. That's a really important scene. And that's, by the way, the episode is 51, I believe, in season 5. Rewatch that. Look at how Walt is towering over her as she's cowering in a bed, saying, I don't know what else I can do. She is literally scared for her children. She feels like a hostage, and all she can do is hope that he dies, because he's gonna, so that her son never has to know, and no trouble ever happens. So anyway, this is probably a terrible, terrible trailer. I have no script. I intended to have people here. I'm sorry. But something to chew on if you're going to join and have this conversation. Before I go, IFT and the definition of cheating. That's, I think, a bone of contention when we talk about this. She was legally married and she cheated. Well, she was legally married, trying to get divorced, kicked him out of the house till he realized she had no legal standing for that, wouldn't sign the divorce papers, and then when he did, she realized he was better off if they didn't get divorced legally. She did not want to be married to Walt at all. She took a legal marriage and went on with her life, but I think she also did it because, short of going to the police, which she didn't want to do for the sake of her son and later her daughter, she just didn't want to do that. And she tried her best to get him out of there and away from the kids. And when she says, hey, Walt, you're in danger, no shit. It's proven over and over again. She's not wrong. Things happen. So trying to see it from the point of view of Skyler is a little tough, but where the infidelity is concerned, she had declared herself done with the marriage. It was all a formality, a legality. He was forcing himself back into the house. And I think the big thing is that she not only thought it might be fun, but it would hit Walt right where it hurts, the ego, and he would leave. Anyway, crappy trailer, I know. Please, people, let's have a conversation, because I hate just talking to a computer. and making these videos, and I'm sorry that I screwed everything up. I'm going to try to unscrew it up at another time, to be determined. Have an A1 day.